I'm Tim, and
Oh, hi, I'm Alex.
that's Alex. And we're about to see Dunkirk by Christopher Nolan, which is the big movie about the historical event. And people are starting to look at us.
Awesome.
But we're just going to continue because, we don't give a shit. So,
Plus, you're recording it so people can look at us.
thank you, Alex. So, Alex, what do you think of... What did you expect from the movie?
I've heard things about it. I've heard not to expect a big action blockbuster like, a Michael Bay type thing.
So, here's the thing. The camera's here, so
Yeah.
you're watching me, but you need to speak to the camera.
Why?
Could somebody tell me in the comments what the best thing is, like him watching the camera, like I'm doing, like watching straight in your eyes, giving you a little love, or just watching like
No
this?
one wants that. No one wants that.
It's not because you're English and don't want any love that nobody wants any love, Alex.
No one wants your love.
Fuck off. So we're gonna watch a movie, and Alex thinks it's gonna be... Wait, what do you think?
So, not an action blockbuster Michael Bay-esque type thing, but I'm expecting a bit of soul, a bit of an interesting story. The horrors of war portrayed.
He's expecting soul. Okay, big expectations.
What are you expecting?
I think basically the same. I think I'm kind of hoping I trust Nolan with this, basically. I think he's a great director, and I think he's got a lot of feeling with the subject, and it's one of the most interesting events in the Second World War. So if done well, this could be a great movie.
Are you expecting it to be good for people who are unfamiliar with the story?
Yeah, I hope so, because this is one of the lesser known stories of the war, and I think it's... Most of the time we remember what happened after the war and what happened at the end of it, and not in the beginning how, very much fucked all of us were.
I think that certainly depends on your nationality, because it's a very well-known story in the UK.
Well, yeah, I think honestly, I know of it because I have a historical background, but I don't think a lot of people do back in Belgium, and that's why I hope a lot of people go see this. I also hope it's good. That'll help, definitely. But yeah, we'll see. Anything else to add?
I think Batman's going to come in at the end and save the day.
I think that would actually be great. Yeah, just Batman killing Hitler, basically.
Spoiler alert.
Not
Gotta tell people this first.
I think we're gonna cut some stuff out. Okay, now we're gonna watch the... So we actually made it home, miraculously.
For the first time ever.
And now we're gonna have beers. Completely coincidentally, Belgian beers for our first, maybe final episode. How are we calling this?
8th Floor Ramblings.
Yeah, we've been talking about the name for the last 2 months, and now we're calling it 8th Floor Ramblings because...
We live on the 7th floor, but it doesn't scan so well.
Because we live on the 8th floor and we ramble. Fuck it. An excuse to drink beer is a good excuse to me personally.
Are we going to do a beer review?
No, well, not this time. We have enough to worry about. Next time, we will discuss beers. And Alex will call me a snob because I like Belgian beer. Well, and don't like anything else, honestly. But good. So, Alex.
Almost Psycho-esque.
This is probably one of Hans Zimmer, mostly known for the pirate movies, but one of his best scores ever, I think. Like, for a theatrical movie, amazing score. And as you say, like, it's always there, but you don't really notice it because it's so integrated into the movie. It's just very well done.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it was just like this low frequency, bassy, grumbling drone of impending doom.
Yeah, it was just always there, and that's the thing. Like, the fact about like this is a horror movie. I think that's definitely true. This is a horror movie. You don't see the Germans until the very end, and you don't need them actually. This is not about the Germans.
If anything, I thought the more terrifying or deadly thing that seemed to crop up again and again was the sea, was the water.
Yeah.
A lot of threat of drowning, or very claustrophobic.
Yeah. Like and a lot of symbolism of that as well. Like a closed door means a lot more than just a closed door during the entire movie. But to go back to your first point, like the cinematography is just amazing. He is painting at this point. Like each one of these, each still of this movie is just in itself a wonderful little piece of art. And all of it together, the way the airplane fights are filmed, it's just. If you thought Pearl Harbor was impressive when it comes to airplane fights, like this is an entirely different ballgame. This is just very impressive, and it's beautiful how they do it.
I'm proud to say I haven't seen Pearl Harbor.
Of course you haven't.
Pearl Harbor sucks. Team America told us.
It has. Well, let's not go into the mess that is Pearl Harbor. Although it's not a complete shitstorm, but you know it is Michael Bay.
I guess thematically it's not too different from Dunkirk.
I think Dunkirk is the realistic movie. Is a much more realistic movie about war and what it does to people and how people react to it. And I think Dunkirk is a lot more realistic in that way. It's a lot of waiting. Not a lot of stuff happens. It's a lot of people waiting for something to happen, reacting to that, and then again a lot of waiting. But that does, for me personally, that did not get boring at any point in the entire movie, which is, well, not that easy to do. So I think this is an amazing movie, although there are some issues with the plot.
The only sort of real issues the biggest issue I had, I think, with the film was that I didn't find any of the characters particularly compelling, because we didn't really get to know them very well, apart from the guys on the boat. But yeah, like the main guy who we were following from the start.
Yeah, the kid.
We don't really know anything about it. Even his name.
We don't know names of almost every character is nameless in this movie. And I think, and that's probably a very conscious choice, but it does mean that you're not as invested in these characters as you could be. I mean, one character has a name, well, a fake name, and dies. You know, like you should feel something, you do feel something, but it's not as powerful as it could have been. It's very much you're an observer and you're not engaged. I mean, you do feel a lot of things because you're frightened the entire time. It's a very frightening movie. I mean, Nolan uses the cinematography to give you this feeling of immense dread and fear that something is going to happen. And that actually really works. But I think, the characters are very replaceable.
Yeah.
In a way.
And like you said, I mean, that must have been a conscious decision not to even, give them names. You know, often you see, an expositionary scene where people meet each other and, introduce themselves in this way. I think, certainly we do find out the names of the people on the boat. The guys that are setting off. Yeah,
the people on the boat, but then all of the soldiers who keep popping back up. And there's another thing that's a very conscious choice, and I don't know whether it's a good choice, is the chronology. Slight spoiler alert, although you should be able to figure this out for yourself, like within the first 10 minutes. So the movie is not built up chronologically. It's you're constantly changing perspective, and the perspective of one part of the movie is from an entire week, another one is an entire day, another one is an entire hour. So it's a very different. It's a bit weird because you see the same thing happening from different perspectives. So you'll see, a boat sinking from the 3 different perspectives, but, the third time it comes around, you know that the boat is going to sink. You know what is going to happen to the people on the boat because you've already seen it. Which is interesting because it shows you different perspectives, but at the same time, you're not as surprised anymore when it actually happens.
But I also don't think it was that interesting because all you're seeing is the boat sinking from three different perspectives, and the three different perspectives are all the same, essentially. Well, you know, one of them's survival, one of them's like trying to prevent this, and the other is trying to save the people from the boat. But essentially, there aren't different viewpoints of what's happened. It's a terrible thing that's happened.
But I think there is a fundamental difference in the viewpoints because the pilot, Tom Hardy, he has a very, like, in his perspective, it's just his gun, basically. You hear his gun, and you see what he sees, and he doesn't see that much, honestly. And then when you go to the guys on the sinking boats, that's an entirely different world. That's a very claustrophobic, that's fear itself, in a way. So I do think it has value, but it kind of wastes a lot of the plot. But, I mean, honestly, for me, this is nitpicking. This is basically one of the best movies I've seen this year, and I think he really did not...
To be fair, the other films you've seen this year have been terrible.
We can have a discussion about that later. He hates everything that's fun in this world when it comes to movies.
No, I like the Lego Movie. And Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And Back to the Future.
We're not gonna discuss... So maybe we should watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit at some point, so you can get me over what I think right now. But
I think you need to see it before you go off on like a 10-minute rant and criticize
okay,
it.
but let's here. Well, good. We'll see it, and then I'll adjust my opinion. Anyway, and we can also discuss old movies, but on this particular movie, it took us about 10 minutes to get completely rammed, of course. Sinking ship.
A terrible Sean Connery impersonation. A sinking ship, yes.
And the last scene is just freaking beautiful. Like, it's perfect. It's what this movie should be, and I think Nolan he got everything out of it that was in it, basically, so I think he did a really good job.
In terms of nationalism in the film...
What's your comment?
So of course we're going to see this from different perspectives, possibly.
Yeah. So for those who do not know, I am not British. I am very Belgian. And this man, of course, is British and very English. So we have different perspectives on this. Continue, my colleague.
So we discussed very briefly before watching the film. It would be interesting to see how British it was, or how interesting or affecting it would be to a non-British person. Audiences in Slovakia or wherever else around the world, would they care so much about this?
I think this is a very human experience, and I think the way it's built up and the way the music... I honestly don't believe that as a human being you can go through this movie and not feel what Nolan means you to feel. He wants you to be afraid. He wants you to be frightened. And honestly, I was. That might just be me. I might, just be a little boy that gets frightened really easily. But I was frightened at times, and there were scenes, very claustrophobic scenes, the drowning scenes and all this kind of stuff. It's just, it makes you feel the fear that those guys must have felt. And there is no way for us to know that exactly, but this is probably the closest we can come right now to experiencing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very remarkable. So I do think that everybody should go and see this movie, because it gives you a very different perspective of war than what was movie
Pearl Harbor.
Than, for instance, Pearl Harbor does. Pearl Harbor gives you the action, the explosions. It's a Michael Bay movie, of course there are explosions. it gives you all that, but it's not, for me, that's not a real war movie. It's not about the fear. It's not about the waiting. It's not about the pure despair of the moment. And Dunkirk is about despair. It's about continuing and soldiering on through that despair, even though you don't really know why or how or what is going to happen. And that's why this is a great movie, and that's why this is a lot more interesting as a movie than Michael Bay blowing shit up. As a warning, there will be a lot of shitting on Michael Bay right now and in the future, because we hate him. See, he does not disagree on this one, so that's like... anyway, closing statements.
Coming back to this though, so the film focuses on the British Army, of course. It does have a few cursory mentions of the French.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I'm not a historian, I'm not familiar with the whole story, but from what I hear, it was a heroic
action.
and suicidal rearguard action from the French forces to...
And not just the French,
protect the beachhead.
Not just the French, there were Dutch, there were Belgians involved as well, there were Belgian fishermen involved in the action, which, honestly, I wasn't expecting that kind of historical accuracy from this movie, because that amount of nuance is hard to get into a movie. But yeah, of course, Dunkirk is, and if you have no idea what we're talking about, please just look it up on Wikipedia. It's an amazingly interesting battle. It's fascinating what went down there, and how, in the end, the UK and the rest, how the Allies, in the end, did recover from...
Spoiler alert.
But if you have not, watched that, looked that sign...
Spoiler alert. The Allied forces win World War II.
In the end. But it didn't look very good. Alex, your final thoughts about this movie?
Good question.
You've got 5 minutes. No less. Go ahead.
I think we said everything that really needed to be said.
Maybe a lot of things that didn't need to be said, but...
All killer, no filler.
If you think this was too long, please let us know. If you think it was not long enough, please let us know.
I've had that a lot.
If you think... Shut up. If you think... If you didn't think there was too much real talking and not enough jokes, let us know. In short, let us know. Well, but don't let us know that, I have a big head and Alex shows no emotion. We know this. Anyway, continue. You show no emotion. It's a simple truth.
So we were basically just going to discuss whether we think we would recommend it.
Yeah.
Would you recommend it?
Definitely. Yeah, no, without any doubt. I think this is a great movie, and I think, yes, character development, it's not really there, and yes, chronologically there are some flaws with it, but it's still a great movie. It's still a great movie about fear and what it does to people and how you react to it. It's a very realistic movie about war, and I think anybody should actually go and see this, because this is a very important movie. Not just because...
Well, I enjoyed it, but I could see that maybe a lot of other people wouldn't enjoy it. People who would prefer a deeper involvement with characters. You said it was a very human movie. I didn't find it was a particularly human movie. Because you don't really get to emotionally connect with any of the people.
Yeah.
Which is fine for me. I enjoyed it. But for non-British people.
Yeah, I think there is not a lot of connection, but I think it's not so much the characters that makes it a very human movie, is the fact that you will react to what happens. When the door closes and the ship's sinking, you will react to that. When people die, just randomly, you will react to that. You will feel something. And I think this is a movie that makes you feel. And that's why I think it's worth a watch, honestly, because it will make you feel things. Definitely, I can guarantee that. You will flinch when you hear a bullet.
Yeah, it's very much a survival film.
Yeah, true enough.
So much for a short conclusion.
Anyway, we had 5 minutes and we're coming close to the 5 minutes. Let's cut it short here. So yeah, I think it was a good movie. You don't disagree. There is something to be said about the character development. But good movie and like a good night. So, only thing left to say is, if you like this video, please do subscribe, like, let us know you like it. Otherwise, shut up.
No, tell us why you don't.
Oh, tell us why you don't like it, because you're actually
Constructive
working on this.
criticism.
Yes, like lighting. We are lighting now in the most amateurish way you can imagine. You don't want to know. We
Back
might
of Fireflies.
we might use a real camera next time, not my phone, because I've been informed we actually have equipment for that. So yeah, maybe let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, and we'll see whether we actually continue doing this. So, I'm Tim, and I say goodbye.
I'm Alex, and he says goodbye.
Bye.
That sigh, just end it on that